to greet Saddam Hussein in 1994 in Iraq and to salute him for his courage.
That's another
and
lie.
his indefatigability.
You're lying again. Your nose is growing.
Sir, I salute your courage, your strength, your indefatigability.
Just the Saddam Hussein point. Many people have been asking us the same thing.
Well, that's because you have deliberately teed up this interview with a falsehood.
We do not tee up the questions.
You're a bunch of liars, and everybody knows that you are.
Come on, Mr. Galloway.
You have lavished, allegedly, blandishments on Saddam's regime. Would you think life would be better now under that dictatorship, under that totalitarian regime of terror run by Saddam Hussein?
Well, I have never lavished blandishments on Saddam Hussein's regime. In fact, I was one of the very few opponents of the Saddam Hussein regime when British ministers and businessmen...
About his courage.
I was talking about and to the Iraqi people.
Sir, I salute your courage, your strength, your indefatigability. I can honestly tell you that there was not a single person to whom I told I was coming to Iraq and hoping to meet with yourself who did not wish me to convey their heartfelt, fraternal greetings and support.
You're a bunch of liars. I am not an admirer of Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein will live in history long after these dogs.
At a time when we know, through his own admission, that Saddam still possessed weapons of mass destruction, when the dictator was financing global terror, when dissidents were rotting in jail or having their tongues cut out in the street, when all this was happening, George Galloway went to Iraq, stood in front of Saddam and said, "Sir, I salute your courage, your strength and your indefatigability." Those who support the invasion of Iraq may have made many mistakes, but not that one. We overestimated his arsenal, certainly. As once you stood next to him, George, and said, and congratulated...
Can't you debate the issue without attacking
I could if you'd be quiet for a second. Certainly, we underestimated his arsenal, but at least we saw clearly Saddam's ruthlessness and his murderous nature. We didn't congratulate people on calling their children Saddam.
What about
Mr.
Sharon?
Galloway
Tell us about
argue
Sharon the murderer.
again with the Jews.
Tell us about Sharon the
again with the
murderer.
Jews, that we should not have contained Saddam and not toppled him, for he opposed every measure, George, to constrain this fascist dictator.
And now,
so
Sharon,
as you vote, I ask you to salute human rights, to salute freedom, to salute a difficult, flawed, but still correct decision to resist aggression, and to salute the brave, free people of Iraq.
He ad hominem attacks right from the start, putting words in my mouth that I never spoke.
You never said that.
No,
You're telling me you never said that.
Not about Saddam. I didn't, and you know very well.
You stood next to him and said, "Sir, I salute
very
your
well that I didn't."
Sir, I salute your courage, your strength, your indefatigability.
Mr. Galloway speaking with his customary good manners and unsullied integrity.
of spunk-loving sluts.
Order. As I said, I wish to give the honourable gentleman as much leeway as I can.
Or XXX pornographic.
Order.
Or Asian babes.
Oh, it's always the manners and the integrity that you're not sure of, and tonight we see the problem is going to be with the manners.
Because this is the very last time I'll be speaking to ITN. Be sure about that.
You're a Democrat. Does that pose any problems in terms of how you viewed Fidel Castro?
Well, if people believe the package they've just heard, which could have come from Fox News, you would think that Fidel Castro was some kind of tyrant.
Mr. Galloway, are you proud of having got rid of one of the very few black women in Parliament?
What a preposterous question. I know it's very late in the night, but...
Are you proud of having got rid of one of the very few black women in Parliament?
I'm not... Jeremy, move on to your next question.
Well, you're not answering that one.
So move on to your next question.
Are you
because
proud?
I've got a lot of people who want to speak to me.
If
you ask that question again, I'm going. I warn you now.
Don't try and threaten me, Mr. Galloway, please.
You're the one who's trying to badger me.
I'm not trying to badger you. I'm merely asking you whether you're proud of having driven out of Parliament one of the very few black women there, a woman you accused of having on her conscience the deaths of 100,000 people.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about that one.
George Galloway, first of all, when you told Iraqis to resist British troops, you must have known that would have been unacceptable to the Labour Party.
It would be better if you got that right.
I have got it right.
No, you've obviously not got the transcript. I have never asked Iraqis to resist British troops.
They can control the skies.
يمكنهم أن يسيطروا على السماوات.
لكن
I have never called on anybody to harm British troops.
يأتوا ضمن نطاق RPG فإنهم لا يمكن أن يسيطروا على أي شيء. العراق المحتل لا يمكنهم أن يسيطروا على شارع واحد.
These poor Iraqis,
هؤلاء العراقيون الفقراء ويتسلحون بالكلاشنيكوف
of weapons,
ويستعملون الأسلحة البدائية، يكتبون أسماء مدنهم وقراهم على النجوم.
145 military operations every day.
Mr. Galloway trades a better set of manners when he's in Los Angeles from the one that he exhibits when he's in, say, Syria on state television, when he praises the martyrs and the jihadists and the 150 or so operations they conduct every day in Iraq. He goes there to stir it up, and then he comes here to tell us, watch out, they're being nasty. That's, I think, disgraceful.
George unquestionably and disgracefully called on foreign mercenaries, or whatever they might be called, to fight with British troops. There's no question about that. He's now backpedaling in the extreme.
How do you justify your support for Hezbollah and its leader, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah?
A preposterous way to introduce an item, and what a preposterous first question. What a silly question. What a silly person you are. The people who pay the price for the disappointment are the young soldiers that we've sent there to give their life's blood.
والولايات المتحدة كقوة محتلة تضعف باستمرار. ويمكن القول بأن المقاومة العراقية لا تدافع عن العراق وحسب، إنها
George is the only one where any action's been taken, and it's quite clear that it's nothing to do with his position on Iraq. It's a position on British troops and calling on foreign troops to fight against British troops. That's the size of it. George wants to convince us all it's to do with his position in Iraq, that he's some kind of martyr. It's simply not true.
Despite your propaganda, socialism will survive.
It's not propaganda. These are simple questions.
It's Fox News propaganda, which I've come to get used to from Channel 4 News.
All right, fine. We'll put aside we will put aside the abuse. I'm asking you a simple question about how you see the future of Cuba. Do you think there will be some transition?
Socialism will survive. I know that makes you sad, but it will survive. I don't think that dictator does it. You know, when Hitler was at the Channel ports, we had a national government, we suspended normal politics, we cast aside...
Sorry, who's Hitler in this comparison?
Well, George Bush. He's the
George Bush is Hitler, is he?
Don't make me laugh, Mr. Galloway. You have a record as long as my arm of justifying autocracy across the world, and you admire Castro because of the way he rules.
All the papers seem to imply that you get executed in Iran for being gay. That's not true. His boyfriend was hung, though, wasn't he? Yes, but not for being gay, for committing sex crimes against young men.
In Iran, they are persecuted, and those two boys were hung for being gay. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've got to take them at their word. If they say, the leader of Iran says he wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth.
He didn't say that, and you know very well he didn't say that.
This was a political statement.
George, your record of revisionism in this region gives you not a lot of right to be authoritative on this.
The woman there...
From the man who congratulated Saddam Hussein on his courage and indefatigability.
You said the other day that you thought that the assassination of Tony Blair would be morally justified.
By an Iraqi.
How do you propose to use your time in... Oh, I see, it's another occasion of you not wanting to talk to someone who doesn't agree with you.
Actually, Jeremy.
All right. David Lammy, what do you make of Mr. Galloway?
I think he's a carpetbagger.
And how many people were killed on July the 7th? And how many people... Just have a word, George, just calm down. How many people have been saved by what our police have done? How many bomb plots have been foiled? How many July the 7ths have been prevented because we have brave policing and good security services in this country?
Let me ask you this. Are you proud to be British?
Being British is an accident of birth.
America keeps the world as safe as they can where nobody else...
How come we all hate your country's role in the world, Anthony?
What's that?
How come we all hate your country where the people are 32 stone and where there's no sidewalk? Because nobody walks anymore. Go and stuff your mouth.